Okay, so the press release describes the abortion referendum as one of Gibraltar's most significant modern social and political movements. Why do you see it in those terms?
I think it's one of those occasions that people has to kind of look at the mirror and set a light onto themselves and look at themselves. And I think what happened is that there was a situation that was going on in Gibraltar, and we were ignoring it. We were sweeping it under the carpet. We thought that we lived in this country with low abortion rates. Obviously, we live in a predominantly Catholic community, and we weren't aware that this was happening. And I think the issue was brought forward, and we had to look and we had to say, look, are we realistic about what's going on in our community and actually provide the proper care and support that people need? Or do we just carry on living in this little bubble and just sweep everything that we don't like under the carpet and not make any kind of complex decisions? So in that way, socially, it's one of those times where it shows a mirror to yourself and you have to look at yourself carefully and kind of set priorities about what you want. In political terms, it was also interesting because most countries, when legislation has had to be changed, it's gone through Parliament and it's been changed. In our case, the legislation was changed. It needed changing because of a series of external factors as well. But then the legislation was changed and the decision was then put to the public in a referendum, which was very unusual. So the public, once again, had to take charge, if you want, of that political process, and that caused huge division. Yes. Really, for something which was a fundamental right, and which the international situation meant that we would have to move towards that anyway, so that our laws were in keeping with the rest of the world.
Yeah, and for anyone who doesn't remember the detail, what changed legally and practically after the yes vote?
So before the yes vote, the legislation said that anybody either having an abortion or procuring an abortion, unless it was because the life of the mother was seriously at risk in that moment, it was a crime punishable for up to life imprisonment.
Okay.
And the issue was that this was going on anyway, you know, and what we weren't able to do is offer people the support that they needed, either because they were going across the border to Spain or to go into the UK for medical treatment. We were just actually abdicating our responsibility.
What do you think it's done for women in Gibraltar since this vote came in?
I think from what I gather, I think despite the hiccups at the moment, it seems that we're offering a very comprehensive, very good abortion service still within the legislation that we have. So once the referendum was enacted, the good thing was that the clinical pathways, everything was set ready to go literally from the day after the referendum. We then didn't have to go into protracted legal, votes about, So from that sense, the service was there. There were very good clinicians and health professionals ready to take the service and run with it. And my understanding is that we actually have a very good service at the moment.
Do you know any statistics of how many abortions have taken place locally?
I don't have any statistics as such. Anecdotally, I know that it's kind of, it equates to what we knew was happening before. A couple of years ago, I know that the government published statistics. And as part of Gibraltar For Yes, we actually said, look, we welcome that the service is working, but we don't feel that statistics should be published because this is a normal medical procedure. And you don't publish your number of appendectomies that you do, for example. And it was just really bringing out that feeling in the community, that divisiveness as well. And we went through a lot as a community, and it doesn't really need to be brought up all the time in terms of how many people.
Yeah, well, finally, just a last question. Your press release does say that progress cannot be taken for granted. What's the message you want to leave people with tonight?
Exactly that. We can't take things for granted. We've seen in the USA, fundamental rights being eroded, all sorts of obstacles. We've seen in Europe, in countries like Poland, all sorts of obstacles being put in the way for women to access their healthcare reproductive rights. And it can all be swept away, So we really have to be very mindful of what we have, and we have to continue fighting and making sure that everybody everywhere has proper access to reproductive rights.
Selena, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.